Hello, good evening, everyone. Good afternoon if you're in the US. Good evening, Nigeria. I don't know if you can hear me loud and clear. This is Omoyele Showore. Glad to see that all of you, 287 persons, have joined this space at the onset, 201 Eastern Time here and 801 um, in Nigeria. Thank you so much. We're here to talk about the unjust incarceration of our brother, comrade, and lawyer, DELE Farotimi, whose trial will commence tomorrow in Ekiti, in Ado Ekiti, Ekiti State in the southwestern part of Nigeria. So you're welcome once again for coming. I wanted to just call on Peju. If you're there, I can't see you. You're supposed to come up and just help. You're going to be the moderator for today. And I also have here a number of speakers. If you are a speaker listed and you have not requested, please request now so that I can approve of those speakers first. I also have Malcolm Fabi, who is the spokesperson for the Global Coalition to Free DELE Farotimi. I see Malcolm here, and I have not seen Pedro yet, but I see Dr. Chidi. We're expecting Agbajalingo, Pidom Nigeria, Yemi Adamola. We can do justice to this as soon as possible. Please, Pedro, if you're there, please come on. I also see Nibehe Efyong here. I'm going to put you as a speaker. Um, if you're one of the initially invited speakers and you're here, please request so that we can put you on the speakers list before we take orders. For us, you're a priority for now. And I'm looking for Chidi Odinkalu as well. If he's here, please indicate. And so somebody said, I think Pedro said she's in the room and I can't hear her yet, but maybe I have to go back and look for you so as to be able to put you on. Okay, I see a request here. All right. Okay, I don't see Pedro in this request here. Okay, I see Aisha Yusuf who I've invited you. Pedro, I still don't see you on the speaker's request list. If you are not there, please come back. But I think I've seen Malcolm. And Malcolm, if you're there, please can you take it away? Malcolm Fabi.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much for organizing this conversation. I want to thank everybody who has been able to make the call today, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in diaspora. It's exciting to just see Nigerians rallying together broadly around the cause. As Shora indicated earlier, one of the things that happened over the weekend was that a number of folks that have been involved in pushing forward the fight to ensure that the injustice being meted out to DELE Farotimi does not continue. We decided it was time to take the next step. Obviously, since this incident happened, Nigerians have been completely outraged. The abuse of power that has been demonstrated by Chief Afe Balola and those who support him within the Nigerian judicial system, as well as within the law enforcement system, has been outrageous. And, people have, as we would expect, been outraged by it. But one of the challenges we've had historically is that our outrage tends to be very individual. Our outrage tends to be compartmentalized. Our outrage is expressed individually on social media, perhaps in groups that we belong to. And what the system has thrived on historically is the fact that, oftentimes we're not able to corral all those energies together. But this time we've decided it has to be different. that the outrage that millions of Nigerians feel about this case, that we needed to find a way to bring all those energies together, a way to find a common platform, a way to ensure that all of the activities that we're doing, that we find some way to ensure that they are, that we can align all those activities. And it's really exciting to, as we go through today, we had a conversation about two days ago. Some groups have been formed already on WhatsApp, and I'll provide an update on all those different activities. But what we have to do this time that is different is to make sure that all of our efforts are coordinated. The powers that be, those who think they can harass, oppress, and intimidate DELE, they will not be hearing discordant voices. They will be hearing one united voice that will be speaking powerfully against what they're doing. So we have, I'll see if I can quickly, so what I want to provide at a very high level quickly are the three things that we're trying to do with this platform. And so the platform is called Justice for DELE Farotimi. Again, it's a platform that brings everybody that is focused on this issue together. There are three things we're trying to do. The first one is to ensure that we set up a legal defense fund. The way the system works is the system stretches you. We want DELE to be free, but we also want to make sure that DELE has the ability to robustly defend himself. As I speak right now, I think there are cases in probably 4 or 5 different courts in perhaps about 3 different states. And part of the intent is to make sure that you are inundated with cases. And if there's any single case that is opened up by Afe Babalola or the Nigerian police or all of the other accomplices that they're working with, that DELE is not able to be represented at, that is a courtroom where we can potentially lose the fight. I use the word we because DELE is not in this fight alone. And therefore, one of the things we have to do, and that we have to be very strategic about, is to ensure that DELE has both the means, the ability, and the capacity to defend himself. So there's a legal defense fund. It will be, so part of what we're trying to do with that fund is to ensure that the financial resources needed to stand up a legal team, support the legal team, those who are lawyers who want to provide their time pro bono, please join that effort. The second one is an avenue to coordinate a global response. There are already people that have already begun engaging with organizations like Amnesty. Here in North America, there are representations that have already been made to political authorities, the State Department, and other agencies that can begin to put pressure on the Nigerian judicial system. And then for folks in the UK, I know that there was also another effort that was aimed at beginning to question some of the investments and support that Afe Babalola has been making in places like King's College, where he's representing himself as some godfather, some democracy-loving, some justice-observing person from Nigeria, while the truth is that the man is one of the most oppressive human beings and one of the most corrupt people that have ever, walked the earth in Nigeria. And so all those different efforts need to be coordinated. So part of what this platform is intended to do is to make sure that we have one voice and that we're able to corral all of our energies. If we're signing petitions, if we're making representations, if we're asking people to show up and turn up, if people need to go to court to support the effort, like will be the case tomorrow, this would be a platform that would help us galvanize all those efforts. And then the final one is a whistleblowers initiative. If the case against DELE was taking place in any other part of the world, DELE would have the right to subpoena and depose all of the people that he mentioned in his book. It would be able to put them on the hot seat. It would be able to ask them to provide details, their emails, the text messages. Judgments don't rewrite themselves. And one of the things that was alleged in this case was that the Supreme Court judgment actually found a way to rewrite itself. And so again, if DELE had the means to defend himself and to defend himself robustly, he would be able to depose and subpoena these folks. But the truth of the matter is, Even if it did so, the likelihood that they will turn up, that Supreme Court justices who have on their own, on many very public fora and platforms, have decried the corruption in their own system. But if DELE was to depose them and ask them to turn up in court so he can defend himself, the truth is they may not turn up. But we know that corruption does not occur in a vacuum. Corruption might happen in the shadows. But every time there's a corrupt act, there's a clerk who moves the files. There's a registrar who knows why a judgment was rewritten. There's a bank teller who knows that monies were moved. There's a security guard who knows what happened. So what we want to do with the whistleblowers initiative is to ensure that anybody that has information that is germane to this case, an insider that knows what happened and can get the information that is needed to shine a light on the corruption within the system, especially as it pertains to DELE's case, we want to make sure they are incentivized to provide that information. And so the Whistleblowers Initiative will provide two things. One is a secure platform for ensuring that we can get that type of information that DELE can use to robustly defend himself and shine a light on corruption in the Nigerian judicial system, as DELE very clearly indicated in his book. And then the other thing is to ensure that we have the capacity to also incentivize those whistleblowers with, if needed, monetary incentives. So those are the three things. I will drop a number of links in the chat. We have formed the WhatsApp community. I will encourage you to join that community. We have a survey we need you to fill. That survey will allow us to know who you are, where you are. It will allow us to know how you want to help. It will allow us to know whether, for example, you're a lawyer and you want to provide your services pro bono so that we can stand up a robust defense for DELE. It would basically just allow us to better coordinate ourselves. And then there's also a contribution platform. So for those who want to be part of that, you will have the means and the ability to be able to do so as well. So please watch out in the chat. Both myself and Rachel will begin to share those links. So there'll be a survey, a link to join a WhatsApp community, and then thirdly, a link for contributions for those who want to do so. Thank you very much. I turn it back to you, Sho.
Yes, Malcolm, I thank you so much for explaining to everyone what's been going on. Peju announces is going to be my co-host, but before she takes over from me, I just want to give you guys a little bit of information from Ado Ekiti. So there's a team of lawyers on the ground already, and basically tomorrow there's supposed to be two rulings, according to what the lawyers told me this evening. One is to rule on the bail application, which has taken forever. In a case that is not supposed to be filed in the first place. You guys know already there is no criminal defamation law in Ekiti State. Also, there's another ruling that is supposed to determine whether a senior advocate of Nigeria should appear before a magistrate or not, which was what the magistrate decided last week when a senior lawyer did appear. That's Olumide Fusika, SAN. What Section 35 of their Nigerian constitution says, subsection 2, is that if you're accused of any crime, you should choose a lawyer of your choice. It didn't say that a wig of the lawyer should be, more expensive than others. But those are the two things. And then there's also quite a number of Nigerians that will be there tomorrow to observe as part of the events going on tomorrow in Ekiti. So that's where we are. We expect that the ruling will go well, but I'm always very skeptical about these things because I understand that they've been arranged to be against DELE. So let's just the feedback. I want to go back to Rachel so that we can start picking our speakers, and we'll try and make it as quick, precise, and laconic as possible, so that within the next 1.5 hours or so we can run this up and we can look forward to getting things changed starting from tomorrow. Yeah, Rachel, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Yele. Next, I'm going to call on Aisha Yesufu. What we hope to do with the guests that we have today is different people that have had skirmishes, relations in any way with either the judiciary system or our police system, to tell us what we might expect in Farotimi's case and what the future holds for us and what this fight should look like. Thank you very much. Aisha, if you could please unmute yourself. Thank you. Hello. Hi. Yele, I don't know if Aisha can hear me. I know she's been given speaker rights, but it doesn't seem like she's able to unmute. Okay, while we're waiting to sort out her technical issues, I'd like to call on Isaac Pidom if he can come forward. If you're able to unmute, please do so. Am I the only one who's here in silence? Can others hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm not sure what's happening. Let me see if anybody else is present. I've got the cadet with us. Chidewayanwu, if you're able to unmute, please do so. If you'd like to contribute a few words.
Okay, thank you so much, Peju. Hi, everyone. It's good to be in this space. What we're doing is what you expect us to do, especially for someone like DELE Farotimi, who represents the interest of a few of us who still believe that the powers that be in Nigeria, or those who have constituted themselves as the committee of powers that be that own Nigeria in their heads, is the kind of thing that those of us who believe that they don't own Nigeria should be doing. So I'm glad we're doing it. We're doing a lot of this a couple of years back. And then I don't know what happened. We all suffered some fatigue, which is understandable because we fought vigorously. And just like Beju was saying moments ago, that she wanted to call on people who have had skirmishes in the past with the government. A lot of us have had all this, and we bear marks on our bodies coming from all these skirmishes. And so it's understandable that at the time, a lot of people became, fatigued. But right now, there couldn't be a better time than right now, when brethren, when comrades are beginning to mobilize once more. I think it's the beginning of something that will shock the system. Why do I say this? Because I've seen it happen not once, not twice. And I know that this is how it begins. Right now, it's even starting better than it started in most of the other times. Because in the past, we couldn't really organize very well. And we allowed ourselves to be infiltrated by the system. This happened during NSAS, for instance. We saw what happened with NSAS. Even during the elections, we saw how movements were hijacked, although that's not the topic for today. And but having tasted all that, we now know, I think we know what is good for the country right now, and that is that activists and people of conscience must just rise up and face the system, head on. What they're doing to DELE Farotimi, don't make any mistake about it and think it's a fight between DELE Farotimi and Afe Babalola. Hell no. This is a fight between those of them in the system that think they own Nigeria and the rest of us. It is a fight for them to protect their ill-gotten wealth. It is a fight for them to keep the system where it is, where it favors them and favors their cronies and favors their family members. Because if you don't disrupt the system, you saw what has happened from the past government to the government we have right now. And if you look very well, you see that they have put everything in place to make sure that their successors will still be from within themselves. So I'm very happy with what we're doing. I'll make further contributions as we go along. But I really want to welcome everybody who is on this Twitter space and to encourage you that you're doing the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chidi. Really, really inspiring words there. Let me just quickly check on Aisha to see if she can now unmute. If she can't, I'll take the next speaker, who would be 99% oppressed. Aisha, if you can hear us, please unmute. Okay, I don't think she can. 99 oppressed.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to give us a few words, just 1 minute, please. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much. Apologies earlier. I'm actually juggling 2 meetings, so I had to quickly do a presentation before coming back to this now. Good afternoon, everyone. I would just like to say that as long as DELE FAROTIMI is in captivity, we all are in captivity. He was abducted. This is not an arrest. The Nigerian police force that has always behaved there has been a tool of oppression that is readily available for the highest bidder, whether the bidder has money, connection, power, whatever it is, have gone on to abduct him from Lagos and took him all the way to Ekiti, the same way that terrorists, the same way that bandits, the same way that kidnappers, abduct citizens and take them away. And what we see right now is an attack on everyone. It's not just one person. This is something that has been going on. They've been working on shutting down voices from the place where they are, it's either they are arresting, they are maligning, they are trying to make sure that people's voices are taken away from them. So this is something we should just look at. It's a bigger picture. It's not just about DELE FAROTIMI. It's about the soul of the nation. It's about the voices of the people. And we must stand. And if we continue to say that it's none of our business, it's only a matter of time before it becomes our personal business. I will quickly round up because I've been asked to, the 2 minutes. Is it a minute? They say now 2 minutes. To say that as we go on this, one of the things I think we just need to stay away from is on the issue of hijacked, something was hijacked, something was not hijacked, this, that, what is somebody's motive? If something is hijacked, the onus is on us. Why did we allow it to be hijacked? It's not on the person hijacking. We should take responsibility, because when we keep doing that, instead of just working, we just keep looking at, oh, this one is doing this one is coming to do this. Let's focus on the picture and say that whoever it is, whatever motive you are coming, if the Nigerian government, Nigerian police, Nigerian whatever likes, let them send 1 million people on that place. They will not derail anybody from what we are focused on, and they will not change anything. And so that's the focus we must take and continue to go on, because sometimes suspicion is what is needed. They sow this seed to keep us, fighting each other and not focused on each other. I don't care who you are sending. If the illegitimate president of Nigeria, the former governor of Lagos, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, let he come and stay in that room and whatever. This thing we have, this is our goal. You won't derail it, talk less of any person that you're going to send, or not all the stooges that are working, for him and others. Thank you so much, everyone.
I love that succinct, passionate statement. Thank you so much, Aisha. Such a pleasure to have you here. I'm going to go next to the 99% oppressed. That's PIDOM, Nigeria. If you'd like to give us a few words, once again, just 1 minute, please, if you would.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel, for giving me the opportunity to speak. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening this space from. This is Freedom Nigeria. I'm alive, same person, nothing changed. Those that know my voice know I'm the one speaking. So forget about the rumors, all the rubbish that they've been spreading. It's orchestrated by the government to silence me, to ostracize me from within the authority I used to wield. But let me go to the topic of today, which is about DELE FAROTIMI. You see, we are in a full-blown dictatorship. Nobody should take that away. See, DELE FAROTIMI's case is about the voice of Jacob and the hands of Esau. If you know, you know. That is what is playing out now. So we must do whatever we can to get this case right. Let's shun politics. Let's shun any quarrels within us. At the moment, we must concentrate to see that we succeed in getting DELE FAROTIMI out. Because if we fail, they're actually testing the waters. If we fail to achieve this goal, I'm telling you, they will move to the next level. This is a well-planned package. They are trying to shut down the voices of dissent. Anybody that has opinion outside that of the government, anyone that calls out the government, they will look for a way to shut you down. Don't take this fight between Afe Babalola and DELE FAROTIMI. It's a fight between this corrupt government versus DELE FAROTIMI, using a man as a front. Because where there is no law, there is supposed to be no arrest, trial, or detention. So take it from me that we are having a fight with the government and we must do whatever we can to get it right this time around. Thank you. That's what I will chip in for now.
Once again, a very passionate speech. Thank you so much, Pidom. Really appreciate your time being on this call. Please stay with us. The next speaker is going to be Raphael Adebayo. If you'd like to unmute, we'd love to hear a few words from you. Just 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Abasho. I do not intend to say much. So in the spirit of keeping things short, I'd like to give my respect to everyone in the space. If I may crave your indulgence, because of the time where I am, I would just like to run through my thoughts. I believe we all know the circumstances in which DELE FAROTIMI was abducted. We also know that Mr. Farotimi's ordeal has not only exposed the Nigerian bronx, as he himself avowed, but it has also concretized what that rot looks like in terms of elite capture. So we are not just seeing the weaponization of the corrupt mechanisms of a failed state against one of the brave and insuppressible voices of our time, but we're also seeing the adverse consequences of living in a society which lionizes its worst and demonizes its best. So what is playing out before our eyes is exactly what happens when a society is allowed to run wild with mass dysfunction and social anomaly as acceptable standards of social conduct. Personally, I have no doubt that as someone who, under normal circumstances, would be regarded as an elder to be held in high esteem in Yoruba society, Afe Babalola should know more than anyone else the Yoruba say that Ebu so, that is, and let me say this in pidgin, insult no dey grow for body. Also, it is normal in our culture to freely and very strongly admonish people, old or young, who tend to misuse their positions and stain the good name of our people or trample on others as a result of their transient privilege in society. So we have for us all kinds of proverbs, ditties, and trenchant, razor-sharp poetic verses that are deployed when necessary to remind the likes of Afe Babalola of this world that they are mere mortals, and that it is only in a decadent state like Nigeria that people like him can luxuriate, as we have seen so far, in oppressing and persecuting the likes of Farotimi, who speak truth to decadent power. But I also want to urge us, and I want to state, that Egbon Farotimi is not a victim of Nigeria. If he ever was, he no longer is. Now, he towers above the rot, the same rot which is shamefully personified by Afe Babalola and all his accomplices who are currently strangulating Nigerians despite their illegitimate authority. The same rot against which Farotimi is ready to self-immolate, which for me is the highest point of exceptional personal example. So as far as I am concerned, Farotimi continues to remind the rest of us, through his ongoing ordeal, that he is not a victim, but a timeless story in writing. Farotimi's story is a story of defiance, of conscious resistance, of remarkable bravura, and the determination to not be silenced. If anyone was ever in doubt about the irreducible saliency and the undeniable veracity of everything Farotimi wrote in his book about this Afe Babalola character and the Nigerian injustice system, I hope none of those doubts are left now, because Farotimi has proven, or he has been proven right by history and time. And I hope that all of us can see that our battle for our collective freedom, our collective dignity and prosperity is not only against the political class, as it is visibly known. There are also, as we are presently witnessing, senior advocates of oppression, inspector generals of Gomorrah, learned councils of absurdity, advanced special forces in brutalization and burglary. We even have actors and actresses participating in this ridiculous drama of legalized illegality. However, if the recent upsurge in conscious organizing and resistance against oppression and totalitarianism across Africa is anything to go by, then our total liberation, I believe, from all the forces of contradiction among us is nearer than ever. As our comrades in Djibouti, Kenya, Uganda, and particularly Mozambique have shown us recently, our struggle to liberate ourselves, our social and political institutions, and particularly our vision of the future from the likes of Afe Babalola and the fascists among us must go beyond speaking fine English or whatever colonial languages we speak. We must dare to call out our oppressors beyond the comforts of shiny political tables and backdoor negotiations. So I will end this little contribution by reminding us of what is currently working for our brothers and sisters in Mozambique. I like to call them low-risk activities. They deliver maximum impact with the most minimal effort possible. I am sure some of us here remember the hitting and clanging of pots and pans in Mozambique just a couple of weeks ago. Every conscious person in Mozambique participated in that activity, from the comfort of their homes and the unrestricted stage of their windows. It is my earnest request that as this space continues, we consider declaring a day or a week of national mourning. A day or a week of national mourning from the south to the west, to the east, and to the north. I would have said a day of national shaming, but it is ridiculous as it is that we are actually gathered here because of a man and his imagined reputation. So this man clearly has no shame, which is why we must mourn. We must galvanize ourselves to mourn the reputation of Afe Babalola, the same reputation that has caused him to displace penchant for illegality before the very eyes of the entire world. From the comfort of our homes, or our vehicles, or our workplaces, or wherever else we may be, for an hour a day, any time of the day, until Farotimi is released, we must organize ourselves to call out the man, Afe Babalola, and perform funeral rites for his paralyzed, debilitated, and non-existent reputation, and flood the social media with recordings of such. And no, we will not be mourning because we are sad. We will not be mourning because we are helpless. And surely we will not be mourning because we are victims. If anything, we will be mourning as victors and cautious citizens. This misguided Afe Babalola circus, this horrible show of shame by a man whom we have now learned has not even a patina of good reputation. We must collectively put to good use our placards, our pots, our whistles, our trumpets, our public address systems, and all articles of resistance at our disposal at our respective places of comfort. Comrades, compatriots, I submit that as this conversation continues, we consider this nationwide mourning of Afe Babalola's reputation until the day he is forced by the tireless demands of Nigerians for an immediate end to this circus of illegality and persecution. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could ask Oluomo of Derby to go next, please. And please, if I could implore you that you stay to 1 minute, just so we can get as many speakers as possible to be able to take the floor. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good evening, House. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be on this platform as well this evening. It breaks my heart when I look at the whole case regarding someone like Afe Babalola. We should know better, a man of his pedigree. I think it's, for me, when you look at the whole abuse of power in our system, and for me, is enough is enough. It makes me sick all the time. We're back to same square one. People who should know better. Some of these people lived in Senate climates for many, many years. And I don't understand what's going on in our democracy in 2024. Look at the Nigerian government often clamps down on activist people for different reasons. Obviously, I believe they see activists as a threat to power, silencing opposition members at all time, or probably fear of public uprising. And all we're asking for is a respect for the rule of law. In a normal country, you don't come and kidnap someone, take them from one state to another and stuff. It clearly shows that our democracy has gone backwards. This is not the kind of democracy we want in our country in 2024. So I'm glad to be part of this conversation today and to see the way forward. And I'm afraid if Afe Babalola does not, step back, of course, we're not going to give up. In fact, we're planning to go to King's College in London itself to let them understand the kind of person they're dealing with. And for me, just enough is enough. DELE Farotimi has to be released ASAP and all charges dropped against him, because maybe he likes it or not. Afe Babalola, what he's doing is an abuse of power, and so many things, of course, we have to get right in our society. It breaks my heart to see that in 2024, this is where we are as a nation, which is a shame on every one of us. And of course, injustice for one is an injustice for all. Just like the earlier speaker said, this is not about DELE Farotimi and Afe Babalola. This is about all of us as a nation. I mean, how can we even feel as, a citizen of a country that, they can just come in there, pick you up any day and stuff, and nothing happens? We all have to wake up. Because listen, and the anyhowness in our society has to stop. All this, concern me and stuff, maybe you like it or not. The bad governance in our society is going to affect every one of us one way or the other. I'll use the mic for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that brief but nonetheless powerful message. Next, I'm going to go to Dr. Damages. If you can, is he still on the list of speakers? Let me just check. I can't seem to see him on the list of speakers, so I'm going to move straight ahead to my most esteemed learned friend, Inibehe Efyong. If you could please unmute and join us on the platform. Can you hear me, Inibehe? Okay, while we're waiting for him to resolve any technical issues he might have, I'd like to call on Dr. Fabi to join us once again and tell us what are some of the things that we can do now that we're all gathered here, and we've all heard from various speakers who have told us about this our judiciary system and how they have continued to fail us. What are the steps that we can take?
Thank you very much, Rachel, for calling me up again. And I really want to thank all the speakers that are very passionately, very eloquently, and very clearly articulated where we are, what needs to be done, and the significance of the moment. What has happened to DELE can happen to any of us. And as we speak, there are other people that are going through very similar things to what DELE is going through. Several speakers have reiterated the point, and I'll just repeat it again, that DELE has become a symbol. As we speak, about 2 days ago, I learned that one of the governors instituted a suit going into billions against somebody who had the temerity and the audacity to allege that the governor was corrupt. I don't know of one governor in Nigeria that is not corrupt. And asked that that person should take out full-page adverts in 4 national newspapers and apologize to them. And they're taking their cues directly out of what Afe Babalola is doing to DELE. And so this is going to be a new trend. A trend where you can't speak your mind, a trend where just responding, just making allegations that are just even speaking the truth, not even making allegations, speaking the truth. That truth can get you arrested. That truth can get you handcuffed. That truth can get you taken to a court and being roped into a case in a state where there's no criminal liability and everybody knows it. And if nobody knew it, somebody as elderly as Chief Afe Babalola, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, who understands the law, who come from that state, should know, if nobody else knew, that what DELE was initially being arraigned for was something that was not a crime in Ekiti State. So it portends very significant things, and I'm excited by the fact that every speaker we have heard today has broken down the current issue and the implications it has for free speech in Nigeria. And so what we're doing, just to reiterate that again, is that we are bringing all of our voices together. There are people in diaspora, there are people in the country, there are people from the UK, there are people based in North America, people based in Asia. All of us Nigerians around the world that are outraged at what's going on are lending our voice to this cause. So what can we do? How do we make sure that this is not just, that we're not just expressing this anger online, that we're not just expressing this anger on our WhatsApp groups, that we're not just expressing this anger in our individual engagements, but that we're finding a way to ensure that we corral all of this energy and find ways to institute lasting change in the country. So again, there are 3 things that we are aiming to do. The first one is to make sure that we set up a legal defense fund that can support DELE and many others that are going through these types of issues. So as we speak, there are several other Nigerians that are going through this particular challenge. DELE's wife has come in and has provided us with a message that in terms of funding for DELE's legal defense, that for now, that is not an issue that they are concerned about because they have a robust defense that's being provided on a pro bono basis by many senior advocates of Nigeria who are friends of DELE and who are also outraged by what's going on. So we are grateful for that. And so the focus of a legal defense fund might end up actually being just to ensure that those who have these types of issues and do not have the privilege of having senior lawyers and SANs that can stand up and defend them, that we have a way to ensure that no matter how lowly placed that person is, no matter where that person might not have the stature of a DELE Farotimi, but that no Nigerian that is being harassed for speaking the truth will be left defenseless. And, so that legal defense fund is something that we're hoping will help to address those types of issues. The second one is to make sure that we can coordinate our global efforts. So on DELE's case, yes, there's a battle going on in court, but there are bigger battles that can be fought. We can bring pressure politically across the world to bear on both Chief Afe Babalola and the Nigerian judicial system and the law enforcement system that is being complicit with him in this case. And so again, already there are different organizations that have made outreaches to Amnesty in places like Canada, for example. There's an effort underway to ensure that some of the donations that are being made with corrupt proceeds and representations about what people are not, that they're claiming to be sponsoring centers in different global institutions and pretending that they are defenders of democracy, while the truth of the matter is that what they're doing back home is actually, they are representatives and they are agents of oppression. So wherever that is taking place globally, we want to bring global pressure to bear. And there are a number of initiatives that are taking place, and we'll be able to explain and ensure that everybody can, everybody knows what those initiatives are and can participate as best as you can. And then the third effort that we're trying to, that we're initiating, which we're hoping will be helpful, especially for DELE, but also one that we believe is necessary in Nigeria, is a whistleblowers initiative. So corruption, again, does not occur in a vacuum. For every corrupt act, there is a clerk that knows what happened. There is a messenger that moved files. There's a security guard that was given bags of Ghana must go to go drop somewhere. There's a bank teller that was told to record certain monies. There's a bureau de change operative who was asked to do the dollar conversions from Naira. There's a transaction, there's a text message, there's an email, there's a letter that was written, there's a typist that typed something. What we want to make sure of is that every single person that understands and sees and knows about corrupt practices can come out and provide that information. And we're hoping that type of information could be useful in DELE's case to ensure that he can provide a robust defense for himself, but also the many cases that are springing up across the country where people are being hauled for what oppressors claim are cyber crimes, but the only crime about it is that they don't have the paper trail that actually demonstrates that that corruption took place. But we know that paper trail exists. And what we want to do is to ensure that we put resources against making sure that we can unearth those pieces of information that can prove that corruption exists and that can exonerate all those who want to continue to speak truth to power. As I said earlier on, there are three things we're hoping you can do. There's a survey that was posted earlier on. Please, we want to encourage you to fill in that survey. What that survey would help us to do is to know who you are, where you are, and how you can help this movement. And already from amongst those who have filled that survey, there are a number of those who have indicated that they are lawyers and are willing and happy to provide pro bono services. We already have tens of people that have indicated that they are willing and happy to do that. So we want all those who are on this call to please fill in that survey so that we can follow up with you and pull you into the platform and lend your voice, your resources, your power, your skills, and your talents to join with ours. The second one is we have a WhatsApp community. So please join that community because we're going to use it to continue to organize. And within that community, there are going to be, different spaces within the community for those who are interested in helping to drive the judicial part of what's going on, those who want to help with mobilization. So please join the community again. That link has been pasted and we'll continue to paste it again. And those are the key things that we want to indicate now. As far as contributions are concerned, DELE's family has made it clear that they are fine, that DELE's defense in terms of contributions financially to the cause, that's something that is not necessary for them at the current moment. So we will let you know what if there are any requests for contributions in the future. We'll let you know what causes those requests for contributions might be against. But as I said earlier on, there are a number of individuals that are currently going through exactly the same thing that DELE is going through. Their names and their voices are just not as loud. And DELE, thankfully, is a figure that we can all rally around. They have tried to muzzle one of the strongest voices for truth in the country. And as a lot of the speakers who spoke earlier indicated, it's not accidental. If they can muzzle some of the strongest and loudest voices, then the message is clear that no voice of dissent is going to be tolerated. And we will not stand for it. And we will fight it with every ounce of strength that we have in our beings. And what we're seeing today is just a clear indication that Nigerians will no longer fold our arms. We will not be content to complain. We will take action. And I just hope that this is the beginning of a powerful movement in terms of ensuring that we will continue to fight oppression, we will continue to speak truth to power, and we will continue to find ways of leveraging the strengths that we have to ensure that the ultimate goal of making sure that that nation is a nation that works for all Nigerians is something that we realize in our time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Fabi. Next, I'm going to call on Dr. Damages, if he's able to hear me. I'd like you to unmute, please, and please give us just 1 minute a contribution to this discussion and how you think we might impact the zeitgeist and affect the government and the judiciary system at large.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, everybody. I've listened to what people said. I'm happy with the direction things are going. I just want to point out that a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. We have wasted so many crises in the past, and we cannot afford to waste this one. To me, DELE FAROTIMI is our own Rosa Parks. We cannot waste this crisis. Nigeria, I've said, is a failed nation that works very well for the people that failed that nation. But Afe Babalola is epitome of that, the characters that failed the country. And they got one of their best. And he's going after one of our best, which is the people who are trying to change things. So we cannot allow them to win. If they win this, we are done, all of us. Anybody who thinks that he or she can challenge the institution, the characters that run that country, they will not have any chance if they win this. So we cannot allow them to threaten and intimidate people from speaking up. What can we do? That's the question we should ask ourselves. Last time I checked, there were about 1,300 people here. That's too much power. Do we know that? Do we know that we have power to change the conversation, to impact people who make decisions? I once told people at an event that the power of 10 people, 20 people writing to a newspaper, an online platform, newspaper, is so powerful. I've been at the other end where you see people writing, complaining about the same thing. It impacts how the media, how they tell stories, what they tell in the story. So 1,000 people can change a lot. They can have impact on the judiciary if they talk and reach out to people who are in positions where decisions are made. So I'm not the best in terms of organizing people, but I want to say that for people listening to know that 1,000 people, these people causing problems in Nigeria, they're not up to 1,000 people. 1,000 people unified to change things and decided that they are going to do that in little ways. It doesn't have to be big. They can change things. And one last thing before I go. I hope that this group will not just end when the DELE FAROTIMI situation is resolved. I hope it stays in place because the job, the work is going to be here for a long time. There should be it breaks my heart when I see people, unknown reporters, being arrested in a remote part of Nigeria, and nobody talks about them, and it's gone. They are locked up, and it's over. And let this be an eye-opener for us to all know that everybody, and they have to start from somewhere. A reporter in a remote part of Ebonyi State being threatened, and nobody is behind them. We discourage people who will do the same thing before they get national prominence so that people will talk about them. We need to know their names. We need to have a place, a way to highlight and boost whatever story about people being stopped, because if they stop DELE and stop the next person, eventually they will stop you and they will stop me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for your contribution, and you're right. We are more powerful than we know. Next, I'm going to call on Chidi Odinkalu. It's such a pleasure to have you with us. I'd love for you to just share just a couple of words with us as to the ongoing struggle and things that we can do to move this forward. Thank you very much. If you are able to unmute.
Good evening, Rachel, colleagues, compatriots, and thank you for organizing this this evening. There is a lot everyone who is here could have been doing this evening. So the fact that we are all at least sparing bandwidth for this encounter says this matters to us. This encounter, particularly at this hour around the world, says this matters to us. Every act of solidarity in a struggle, particularly solidarity with people at the end of injustice, at the receiving end of persecution, is very useful. And this is more than about DELE. DELE knew the score, and he knows the score. Most of us don't realize the score, and so this is about us. And it could happen to any of us. And I'm glad Dr. Damages ended on the note of resisting being defeated by these forces. It should worry every Nigerian that one person can commandeer the police force, commandeer the judiciary, commandeer the political system, commandeer the prison system, and determine how long a Nigerian, who's a lawyer actually, of considerable seniority, can be held behind bars on a crime that does not exist in the state where it is being looked into. That should worry every one of us, because it says we don't have a bloody country. So this actually is a fight over whether or not we can be citizens of a country. Fundamentally, that is what it is. No, you accuse a guy of corruption, and then they decide to show that everything you say is valid. So that if DELE had orchestrated and written this as a script, it could not have gone much better. So what can we do? And at the end of the day, where are we? This is more than about the story of one man. The story is that our country has been captured by a very narrow cabal who want to keep us all oppressed using appearances of rule of law. Because when a judge who is bewigged and bejeweled sits down and pronounces it as law, that the man who came forth in an election is first, it becomes rule of law. That subversion of rule of law is what we must keep an eye on. A lot of people will tell you go and register to vote. I cannot tell anybody in Nigeria to go and register to vote. We must keep an eye on the court systems, on the people whom we call judges, magistrates, senior advocates of Nigeria, lawyers. That is where the battle will be fought and won. Unless we fight and win that battle with the lawyers and the judges and the politicians, their mistresses, girlfriends, children who have conspired to take over our court systems in order to avoid the ire of the people whom they no longer serve, we will not make any progress. We have to confront the fact that we no longer win elections in the polling units. We will now win elections in the court systems. That delegitimizes our democratic process. This is what this fundamentally is about. And if we are not willing to do that, to unscramble that conspiracy of capture of the country, all of us are going to have to consider exile for ourselves and our children. I'm too old now to go into exile, so I have to resolve it in Nigeria. And I invite as many of us as wish to have it resolved, because this is a blessed country.
with more than enough resources for all of us. That is why, while all of us are being exiled, the people running it and ruining it and bringing back their children so that their children will drop a loan while all of us are going to mock floors in Uibo land. We have to end that. To end it, let us train our thoughts on the judiciary and the law. All the other details can follow about, and I entirely agree with the point, by the way, made. There are so many Nigerians. DELE is the most prominent, but by no means the only one, who at the moment are hostages of the law. Because this is legal hostage taking. DELE is not going through a legal trial. He is going through judicial terrorism and legal terrorism. This is hostage taking using excuse of legality. We have got to make that case and make it rigorously and vigorously across the board on behalf of all the Nigerians who are going through it at the moment. Can I yield, please?
You most certainly can. Thank you once again, and a round of applause for you. Thank you so much. Next, I'm going to bring up Damilare Adenola. He's on ground in Ado-Ekiti, so it'd be really, really insightful to hear what is the atmosphere like over there. How are people feeling? What are the streets like? Is this a matter of public concern? Or is it just a few people on social media that feel this type of way about DELE Farotimi? Damilare, if you can unmute, please. Okay, I don't think I have him in the room. Damilare, I know you can reach me if you want to, so please send me a message once you are back and have audio. I'm going to move very swiftly on to Okwe Banwo if he's still in the room. I don't see him. Oh, yes, I do. Dr. Banwo, I don't know if you can unmute, please.
Yes, can you hear me?
Thank you so much. Yes, I can.
All right. Well, first, I want to appreciate every one of you for doing this, especially the convener, Moyele Showore, for standing up, being consistent in his fight against injustice. And all I just want to say, most of it has been said by guys who I'm on the phone. So by people who have been on top of this. This is what I just want to say before, and I hope since we have so many people from different walks of life here, we may not even agree politically, but this is one thing that I think is consistent that every one of us have to understand. This is not just about DELE Farotimi. I get that. This is about us backing up what we have all been saying for years, depending on whatever camp we are, that want to end corruption in Nigeria. So finally, somebody stood up and pointed at somebody that one is corrupt. And I felt that if Nigerians are serious, they should really all stand up and insist that man must be given a fair chance to make his case. We've been arguing that, and I'm sure all of us here have been following that. But here is what I want to say in addition to what others have said, is that I also don't want to, one of the major mistakes I believe the Chief Afe Babalola camp has made is that they have overreached in what they were trying to do, and that's what got someone like me very upset. I see the injustice is too clear. I don't want us to overreach in our own response to them either. This is an existential threat to free speech. Anybody who doesn't see that way has not been thinking at all. This is not, I'm fighting for myself by being here, okay? I'm fighting for my right to be able to speak, be able to say my mind, regardless of who is there. And so are you. So they've thrown a test case, like somebody also said. So they've decided that, okay, if they can shut down DELE Farotimi, who the heck am I? Who the heck is you? In other words, they will lock you up and you'll be in jail forever. Why? Because Nigerians, that's how they work, especially the elite. If we let them get away with it so easily with DELE Farotimi, lesser known guys will be in that Ekiti for 1 year and nobody will even hear of you if they can do that. So that is the basis I want us to look at this. But at the same time, I don't want us to broaden our response to them. They brought a test case, DELE versus Baba. So let's stay on that. On the issue of the larger issue about the defense fund or no defense fund for people are suffering this kind of thing. I think that should be separated. And I think by now, if you already doesn't have one, you should go set up one. People like me will donate to that. In other words, that's what that one is for. Not connected to DELE at all, because that battle is going to keep going. So we need a real NGO or whatever that is registered, that's what it does. It can raise funds and chase that. But this DELE FAROTIMI thing, I want us to stay on point to make it so unprofitable for them to want to shut down free speech that others would think about it very thoroughly before they put head tomorrow. That's what they want to do to us. Like, they can jail this guy, the less timid are going to run. We also have to make a test case for them. That, okay, thank God you have brought one of your biggest. We're going to make him pay the price in a way that every elite will hesitate before they grab another guy. That's the game here. When Herod grabbed Peter and all the church did was pray, the next guy they grabbed, they cut off his head. You have to understand what's going on here. If this stands, many of us will be picked and locked up. It will be the choice now. Nobody will be going to civil case for defamation. I agree defamation should be challenged. If they defamed you, go to civil court. That's what it's there for. But if we allow them to criminalize this, they will not bother with civil courts anymore. They will just start picking us up. So we need to make, and this is my own recommendation. I particularly like the way Malcolm is approaching this, very, very methodical. They have 3 or 4 strategies they want to follow. Let's execute it. Let's take the one about contributing money off the table, because that's what they would start talking about. They want to chop money. They want to chop money. Let's put that one aside. Let that be something that an organization that is for general fighting corruption in Nigeria, that maybe a Shore will set up or get people to set up. Let them focus on that. We'll donate to that, and they do a general thing. But on this DELE one, we focus on those who are trying to shut him down. Like they say, Omoto Dagbo Kuku, but Mama Etonsina or my dog Monsisini. We are going to also pretend that, okay, so let DELE they want to come after. So everybody that comes after him, all those fans that are filing in Abeokuta where they don't live, that are filing in Abuja, I like that whistleblower thing. But let's execute it. In other words, just drop a simple form. Your name, or if you want to keep yourself secret, it don't matter. What is the issue? In other words, we want to focus on this defense that many of us are not talking about much. It's not so much, I think, this defense of no reputation to protect. When we put it out there, a career of 65 years standing, and all those sons that have spent 20, 30 years at the bar, they will have some negative stuff they've done along the way. That's what we want to encourage to come out. So because there's a way you get 20, 30 different things that affected Baba, that you put it out there, then they don't even need to prove the truth and find out, because it might be tough for him to find out who gave who money, who didn't give who money. But if you bring 20 instances out to show that this man or any of those sons, they also need to understand that if you come out and put your head, you are also roadkill. I'm putting out my head now. I expect them anytime to come for me. It's okay. I'm fighting for myself. I'm not just fighting for DELE. They also need to know that all those fans that are filing applications, their name will be added to the whistleblower form. People, whatever you know about them, you don't even have to relate to this case. That's the key. You don't have to relate to this current case. If you have been involved in the marital matter before and made it and use your influence, let them tell us about that. You have heard about this. So we get all that information, and then the team that is managing the whistleblower part of this campaign, then they start distilling some of them out there, so that at the end of the day, okay, we balance the terror. If more allegations are coming out every day, we make DELE's job easy, so that when he gets to court, one of his defenses obviously will be no reputation to protect. When you allege that, you don't have to focus on the current issue. You can go bring out an issue of 40 years ago where somebody is corrupt. You can bring 30 years ago. And people in Nigeria know that. They know where these dead bodies are buried. Let's make it easy for them to just fill out a simple form where people can then follow up the instance we are talking about, where we should be looking for the dead body. For those who know where the dead bodies are, this is what happened. This is the case we should go and check. Stuff like that. So we do a very nice, elaborate form, and then they submit it like a Google form. But it goes to very select people that Yele Trust and Malcolm, those the 2 people that are leading this. So make sure you manage it to only those that you really, really, really trust 100% are with you. So that way they can distill out what we can. So I like that particular whistleblower, and it's overdue. So we can push that, run adverts to it to reach millions of Nigeria. We are looking for instances of corruption concerning these guys. Afe Babalola, these Sanders, all those sons that are bemu into the matter, list their name there. So we stay focused. We don't want to make it a general fight against corruption right now because they will distract us. The thing will go to whatever where we start to lose goodwill. Right now, people like me who don't like injustice, they are resonating with this fight. Let's keep it there on this issue. And I think we are going to go a long way. So I'll conclude by saying this, guys. This is not about DELE FAROTIMI, regardless of your political lineage. And like Aisha said, this is not the time we're going to be talking about our own political differences. We have a guy, we have a way of life under threat. Me, I like to be able to talk against Showore if I want. I want to be able to talk against Dagaban if I want. I want to be able to talk against Peter Obi if I want. But they won't let us do that if they can just pick you up and put you in jail. So that to me is the fight. And I'm ready to contribute whatever I need to do in terms of when they start separating it out. And I just want to say this. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. Yeah, but remember, you're not here for DELE yourself. If they come for DELE and you don't speak up, when they come for you, Showore will not be there to speak for you because they will take Showore himself, take me, take everybody. And then what? Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. I'm done.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Banwo. I'm hearing focused, eyes on the prize, systematic, organized, and go only for the prize. Thank you so much for that. Olu, you've been very patient. That's Emperor 24. If you are able to unmute, please do join us and give us just 1 minute, please, Olu.
Yeah, I get to my time. Give me 1 minute, but I will not speak too much. I've been listening to my. No, don't worry,
Thank
Peju.
you.
I will catch you. I will catch you on Facebook. Good evening, Mr. Dr. Bawa. I've listened to Showore as well. Dr. Shidi and every one of you. Compliment of the season. Let's greet ourselves. There's no bad news here. It's only for good. We are gathered here once more. Yeah. Our brother have been kidnapped from Lagos to Ekiti State. It's a sad story to them, not we. Yeah, if there's something that is so logic for themselves, not we. We have the solution. There's nothing they can do that is so powerful than our voice. One voice, how many are they? They are not up to 1,000. All these people that are doing blah, blah, blah. They want to release him. They just want to do the way they treated my brother here, Showore. They want to use their kill the spirit and keep short, don't talk, and all this. Are we still in the military era? We know what they did to Fela. Don't let me go to story. You know what they did to Ganiva and me. We know what they did to so many. They even doing it to themselves. So it did not come to me as a surprise that they kidnapped him, just they kidnap Showore or anybody else. The border year 99 or something, they kidnapped me a few weeks ago or 3 months ago to Abuja direct. So it doesn't surprise me. And everyone here knows about it that they used to kidnap and say, shut up. Are we still in the military? Kilo day, enough is enough. So what I would say, don't let what they're doing now to keep our spirit. We are going to get Mr. DELE FAROTIMI out. And how we're going to get him out is to organize. And I know Showore he can bring suggestion, and Mr. Doctor have already suggested something that we should, by now, we should set up a GoFundMe by somebody. Rachel, you can start it. Anybody can start it. We can do the meeting right now before we leave to our places, because it's a Christmas period, and now everybody will keep busy. So we should do it right now. What are we going to do? Are we going for GoFundMe? I read from the newspaper, because I'm quite busy this time. For newspaper, there's 150 million of something like that bail. I don't know, maybe they are trying to manipulate the way they used to do to prolong the matter after Christmas, just punishment to kill everybody's spirits. I know this is their modus operandi. They are used to that is their game anyway. So it's not come to me as a surprise. So what are we going to do now? Are we going to set up GoFundMe right away? because I will go straight to the point. What are we going to do now? Are we going to do GoFundMe right away? The 15 million naira bills, is it valid or I don't know? Showore can update us on that. Then, if it's still valid, 50 million naira by the time we contribute London, Canada, America, I mean Nigeria, and anything, it may be beyond that 50 million naira within 24 hours. So, yeah, they will continue. No matter what we do, they will continue to oppress and suppress the voice of Nigeria. They will continue because, you know why I say that? You hold a gun, you want to shoot me, you have a catapult and I hold a gun. That is the position where they are. They believe that you don't have anything to say than your voice. And this time around, I think it may turn to be something that they will regret. It may turn because many people around the world, they feel concerned about Mr. DELE. They want to kill him spirit. That's what they want to do. That is the motive. Nothing else. Shut up. Don't talk. And they're using the excuse of this son, this Baba at Ekiti, to justify what they're doing now. Even maybe in the closed door, the man have said, go and release this man. And somewhere, all the accomplices from Ibadan, different lawsuits from Lagos and others said, no, we are not going to do it. Don't release him. Don't do that. I know, we know what is going on. We know what is going on because this man, this is an elderly man, 95 years old, and they push him. No, don't release him. Don't do this. We know. So what are we going to do? Are we going to contribute money now? I want to hear from people. If doctor have suggested that, okay, we should set up something that will result to a solution. This man must not spend Christmas and New Year there. He has a family. He has a family back home in Lagos State there. So what's the solution? Please. Thank you. I will use for now.
Thank you very much. Before I call on the next, and you promised me 1 minute, Olu, you promised me 1 minute. Anyway, no problem. I'm going to call on both Show and Dr. Fabi to just respond to the last speaker, if you would, and advise people on what the next steps are in a very definitively. Thank you.
Yes, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can, clearly. Yes.
All right, good. So I wanted to state just a few things that they come from experience. One is that DELE is definitely not the first person to try this with. They've tried it. They've been trying it forever. You know, with even the guys who fought against independence, they used to try them for sedition. This is similar to it. And then sedition was removed from Nigerian law books, but they've always figured out how to bring it back. And there's been a lot of arrests that involve what they call criminal defamation, which is a northern Nigerian law, and some southern states have it, but most of them have expunged it from their books. And then there's also a law which is a federal offense known as the cybercrime law. I have been arrested for that before, after I was arrested for treason, and it's still my case is still going. We have several cases that I wish DG was here because we used to run around in Abuja trying to extricate people from police detention who are accused of cybercrime. Is another common law, which is part of what we should be discussing is how to also end this. Another thing we should also not forget is that even civil litigation on libel is a way of shutting down people. I'll give you an example, and most of you don't know this. While I was in Abuja for 5 years, I found out that they secretly filed 15 libel cases against me in Abuja. 15 at the federal court, FCT court. At the point, they even filed a case on behalf of the Attorney General against me at the Federal High Court, and we defeated them in all these cases. So I have faced a lot of civil cases also here in the US. I'm on the 7th one now. I've won 6 of it, but there's still one that's pending. So these are also slaps, slaps that are, lawsuits that are
deliberately designed to shut down activists. So in fighting against criminal libel, we must also continue to condemn non-criminal libel because they are all expensive, whether we like it or not. If I was not protected by NGOs and foundations in the US, I would have shut down a long time ago because in one of the criminal libel cases filed against me, I was in court in Maryland for 4 years. And if I was paying lawyers from my pocket, I would have been ruined completely. I know of a lady in Maryland, in the US here, that has been sued several times by the GO of this church, this very litigious GO, Mountain of Fire. And this lady is practically bankrupt in the US. So I'm just saying that in considering all of this, don't also overlook the fact that even civil libel, especially all these slapped-based civil law cases, are also meant to achieve the same objective. One puts you in jail and one bankrupts you. So we should condemn all of this altogether. And I would yield to Malcolm to discuss what is the next stage of action so that people are very clear about what it's all about. And I agree and I appreciate everybody that's come here that we are working on DELE now. But if they release DELE tomorrow, it could be one of us here on this space that will be arrested. It might be at the airport on your way in, because as we are speaking, they are here with you. They are listening. They have their ears and eyes everywhere. And I love it because that's why I always make all this transparently public. How much I can't stand a very repressive system in Nigeria. So let's all continue to bond together. And I disagree with Okweba that once we should separate it and fight for DELE alone. And no, we should fight for everybody. Whether you are arrested by a governor in Sokoto or you are arrested, by one rich man who is the son or a governor or a military general, we must fight for everybody with equal zeal. Whether you are arrested by Burna Boy, who has put in jail a guy known as Speed Darlington for months now, and I heard that they are not going to even take him to court until January 15. Those things are not acceptable. So either you are a state actor or a non-state actor, this is our moment to stop this idea of non-state and state actor repression in our country. There's no time to now come back and say, we want to do another space to start discussing how to help the person, the new victims of the system, because whether they are victimizing you with, criminal libel or victimizing you with cyber crime laws and all of those things, none of them should be acceptable, especially when those who are involved or engaged are not wrong. We just heard from Chidodin Kalu. He didn't speak about his own experience. He was sued, I think, in Kaduna. I think they also sued him in Rivers State. They take you everywhere just to stretch you thin so that, I'm surprised. I thought you are going on exile, by the way, Professor. I didn't know you are on the ground. Me too. I don't want to go on exile again. I want to return back home, and I'm sure everybody who is here want to return back to the country. So whether they like it or not, we must make the country habitable for ourselves. Those of us, especially those of us who are not part of the class that has ruined the country, as Dr. Damage said. So Malcolm, are you there? You can continue from there. Thank you.
Just before you come in, Dr. Malcolm, Sure, I don't know if you can help me or if you've got anyone more technically savvy. Dr. Malcolm has referred a couple of times to surveys, to WhatsApp groups. Is there a way that we can pin these on this chat, on this space? I know it's possible. I just lack the means. So if someone can send me a WhatsApp message, if there's anybody who knows how to do it, let me know, and I will make sure
we have a lot of technically savvy people, that are listening. So that shouldn't be a problem. They will reach out to you in a second. That shouldn't be a problem. That's our least problem here today.
Has outed me. I am more of a Facebook person, so please. And so now I'll yield the floor to Dr. Malcolm. If you can hear me, please unmute.
Thank you very much, Rachel. And thanks again to everybody for the incredible, inspirational, very concise, insightful contributions that have been made. What I'll do is I'll just, like a broken record, I'll just reiterate the three things that we're going to be focused on. So one is, we will stand up a legal defense fund. That legal defense fund is to make sure we're able to help and support every single Nigerian that is currently facing an oppressive, legal, intimidative backlash from the system. One of the things we've been made aware of by DELE's family is that in their particular case, they do not believe they need the support directly for DELE because a team of lawyers have volunteered their time pro bono, many of them senior advocates of Nigeria. And so in DELE's particular case for now, with the 4 or 5 cases that he has across the country, the family has informed us that they have all the support they need. But as Shore has indicated, and as others have indicated, there are many other Nigerians that are facing significant challenges right now. I know of a case, I think the lady is called Olamide, that's coming up tomorrow, so a very similar case. So there will be a legal defense fund. The second one is we're going to be coordinating our activities globally. So this is a political case. Anybody that thinks this is a legal case is mistaken. And if a case is political, then there's such a thing as the court of public opinion. And so while the case is going on in the courts of law and being robustly defended in the court of law, we need to make sure that in the court of public opinion on the streets, that we're also not absent. And so what this coordination could involve, for example, would be that it would be a travesty, we think, for DELE to turn up in court tomorrow and the only people there are the lawyers to represent him. DELE has become a voice against oppression. He has become a voice for the voiceless. He has become somebody who is now a symbol of our fight against tyranny in the Nigerian judicial and political system. And so one of the things that's happening is there's a separate effort that's underway to make sure that there are people present as friends of DELE tomorrow, people who will be there to represent us and to make people know that he's not alone. There are efforts underway. There are engagements with organizations like Amnesty. There's political pressure that's been brought to bear on both the activities of folks like Chief Afe Babalola and other actors within the Nigerian system that are active in DELE's case and active in other cases. So we will continue this pressure. We understand, we're not naive. We know that, yes, the way that they are engaging right now might be legal, but the truth is this is extra legal. There's no legality in sending police. In order for Ado Ekiti police to get to Lagos, they would have passed through 2 other states, Ogun State and Oyo State, in order for them to get to Lagos. And so state police, would go across different jurisdictions where they have no play and go and abduct someone and bring them back. That's not legal. That is extra legal. So again, we're not naive. We're going to keep up this effort, and we're going to make sure that we're trying to coordinate those activities as much as possible. There are many initiatives that have been proposed, and over the next day and over the next few weeks, we'll continue to make those initiatives obvious. Some of them would be basically signing on to petitions. Some of them might be turning up in court. In order to turn up in court, we need to know where those courtrooms are. Some of them might be just making our voices known through different measures. But we will let people know what those activities are and what exactly it is that we need folks to do. And the third one is a whistleblowers initiative, which will be focused on ensuring that we shine a light and we provide a platform for those who know and are aware of and have privileged information about corruption in the Nigerian system to bring those out. Some of that information we hope will be germane to DELE's case, but beyond that, as some of the other speakers have said, is we want to create a platform, a safe space for Nigerians to provide this information. And right now we're working on building up a digital secure platform to make that happen. and also supporting through financial incentives, if necessary, those who want to bring such information to the public. There will be no direct funding requests right now for DELE's cases. Family has said that is not necessary. So the two things that we would recommend people do right now is, one, please fill the survey that we're sending to you. That survey would allow us to know who you are. It will allow us to know where you are. It will allow us to know what it is you are willing and ready to support this initiative with. And those who have already filled the survey, as I was indicating earlier, they've already made it clear that, look, some of them are lawyers and they're willing to provide pro bono services. So DELE doesn't need it, but there are many others who need those services, who do not have the SAN friends and who do not have the lawyer friends that will provide them with those free services. So please fill out that survey so we can reach you. All that survey would be asking for is your name, your email address, your phone number, and where you reside, so that we can better organize and coordinate. The second thing is there's another link that that has been sent to you, and as Rachel indicated, will be pinned to this conversation, that is focused on asking you to join a WhatsApp platform. So please join that platform. Let us make sure we bring ourselves into a single collective so that we can better organize and coordinate. And so between the survey and the information you provide and the WhatsApp platform and other social media platforms that we're going to be leveraging to drive the advocacy we're going to be doing and the awareness generation we're going to be doing forward, we will be able to better coordinate across all those. One of the things you get later today, for example, for those who are on these platforms and will provide us with that information, is we can do something very simple tomorrow. So, for example, tomorrow, all of our DPs on all of our social media platforms can reflect DELE, because DELE is going to be in court. It's a powerful symbol. It's a symbolic gesture. But it is also, those are some very simple, powerful ways in which we can express, we can express our views. We can make other people aware. If Nigerians all of a sudden began to see almost everybody's DP having the same image of DELE, the questions, it opens up an avenue for conversation. So please fill out that survey. Please join the WhatsApp platform, and we'll take it forward from there. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And just like magic, both of these links have now been pinned to this space. So please do go ahead, complete the survey, join the group so that you can be kept up to date as to what we are doing. I would, I see hands up. I can see you, Pidom. I can see you, Chidi. I want to bring in the engineer Okon, if you can hear me. Please, if you'd like to unmute and just give us just 1 minute, and then I will take the comments from these other three people, Engineer Okon, and then I will also go to one more person before I take the hands. Thank you. Please unmute and join us. Okay, I think he's dropped off. So if I can go back to Pidom then. Pidom, if you can just give me just 1 minute, please. I know you've spoken before, but I'm sure maybe you want to address one or two things. Just 1 minute, please. Thank you.
Rachel, please, I don't know if I'll get a little exception to this 1 minute of a thing. The last time I came, I actually have a lot to say, but I just have to brief it up. But I want to tell you guys, we're actually talking about DELE's case, and me coming from from an angle of someone that knows, you understand? So I really want to buttress a lot of things. I will take more than a minute, to be honest with you. Let me tell you guys, some people don't really know that it's DELE today. It could be them tomorrow. And we should not centralize this issue about DELE. This is an issue about our collective existence. Our collective existence as Nigerians, you understand? Because we have
Is
a
it just me? I
tyrannical...
can't hear anybody. Is it just me, or this is the situation with everybody?
Rachel,
No,
Rachel,
I can hear him.
Rachel,
You can
can
hear
you hear
him?
me?
I can hear him, and I can hear you too, Sho.
Okay, I can't hear him. Maybe there's something with.
It's like the
All right.
space is under attack, to be honest with you, because it keeps showing that the host is being disconnected and the rest. No problem. Let me just continue. The thing is, we have state and non-state actors right now. Like what Malcolm said about whistleblower policy and the rest. You see, journalism is no longer an interesting profession in Nigeria anymore, especially the investigative part of it or whistleblowing part of it. You understand? Because the government, state actors and non-state actors, working with the corrupt police system, we always use cybercrime acts to pin you down. What they do, they know they have a useless case against you, but they'll look for a way to look for somehow get you arrested, not just arrested, practically kidnapped, lock you down somewhere, after some time charge you to court and ensure that you have a case in court where they will ruin your finances. You cannot continue to survive as an individual and you will not have the mouth to continue to say anything. That is what the government is doing right now. Both actors and non-state actors, that's what they're doing. I will take a practical example of one person. Recently, I had to go extra mile to fight, just like DELE. One John Paul, Obi John Paul, Akat Asawo, known as Akat Asawo, that is Akat_Asawo, is a very popular person on Twitter. Popular in the sense that he is into human rights activism and advocacy. You know, he used to join the obedient movement and the rest. He was very prominent when it comes to all the protests they had in Nigeria, from EndSARS to the End Bad Governance. Even he was beaten during the End Bad Governance, of which his spinal cord, he had a spinal cord injury. This guy was recently arrested last week, Monday. He has been between 2022 and 2023 and 2024. He has been arrested like 7 times by different security agencies, from the police, the SS, even the military. They've arrested that same guy, just like DELE. This guy is a voice in Cross River State. You can ask Agbajalingo. He's a voice in Cross River State when it comes to anything advocacy, standing for the oppressed, speaking against corrupt system. He's at the forefront of it. What happened? The government of Cross River State has been on his neck because of his advocacy. This guy works in a radio station and he commands a very a wonderful program that has wide listenership in Cross River State. But whenever his program comes up, he keeps hammering the government, calling on the government to do the right thing, exposing their corruption and the rest. The government had to give his radio station an option to sack him, or they withdraw their license. The station giving an option is that it's either he stops criticizing the government or he'll be fired. He told them to fire him. They fired him. That's how he lost his job. He went into farming and he continued with his advocacy. This same government went for his farm. They sent people, they went to destroy his farm and everything. The guy became bankrupt, totally useless. He was just like still advocating, doing what, even he wasn't doing anything when the End Bad Governance protest came up. He stood, coordinated Cross River State. He was arrested, detained during the End Bad Governance protest. As if that is not enough. Recently, the government came from nowhere. He is doing his PhD program recently. On Monday, this last Monday, he was supposed to start his PhD exams. He was arrested that Monday. That same Monday that he was supposed to start his PhD exams. And the exam is to run for 1 week. He was detained till this Monday before he was granted. Not that he was granted bail. It was our own persistence. We had to persist before he got, because they arrested him, detained him, without charging him to court. They went to get a court order to continue to hold him. The order was they should hold him till 29th of January because the courts in Cross River State, they've all gone on vacation. The AIG Zone 6, Calabar, that was doing all this rubbish has been promoted to a DIG, decorated, and has been transferred. So they did everything to pin this guy down. We had to go and get a vacation judge to grant him bail. So this is not about DELE alone. And these people, they attack you, they institute these criminal cyber crimes act charges against you, take it to court, and seal you down finally. You cannot say anything because you have a case in court. That is what they are doing right now. So, but if I'm to go by information I'm gathering right now from my own location, tomorrow we will smile because DELE will be granted bail and he will go out. He will be released tomorrow by the grace of God with the information I'm gathering right now. But it should not end here. It should not end here because if we don't continue to place the government where they belong, this tyrannical government, this dictatorship, if we don't place them where they belong, tomorrow they will go for the likes of Showore, they will go for the likes of Aisha Isufu, they will go for the likes of Deji, they will go for the likes of Chido Dinkalu, they will go for the likes of Sam Amadi. Vicent, people that have different opinions about the government, they will go for you. They wanted to use DELE's case to test the waters. That is it. So it's like people are behind, fueling this thing, telling Alpha Babalo, don't worry, we are giving all the legal loopholes, we are giving all the backing, do whatever you want to do, we are there. So we have to put it to them that enough is enough. Nigeria belongs to everybody. The corruption in our legal system, in our judiciary, is nothing to write home about. We all know. It's nothing to write home about. The corruption in our judicial system. Look at Wike building houses for judges, buying cars for judges. So will you take Wike to court in front of one of those judges and you get a favorable judgment against him? So that is it. So DELE was never lying. He was saying the truth. He was actually telling Nigerians the truth. So we should all jettison politics. DELE may be a member of, may be a supporter of Labour Party or something. This is not about politics. This is about our collective existence.
Can you hear me? Thank you very much. We will be ending this Twitter space at the top of the hour. So we have just 17 minutes. I'm going to ask for, I can't see your name, Office of the Nigerian Citizen. So that's at KCMNK to speak. Chidinwayawu, you're going to come next. And then I believe there was a lady with her hand up. If you had your hand up, please put your hand back up. I'm going to flex my co-host muscles. And if I can get one woman speaker, I'll be more than happy to bring her on as well. So let me start with KCMNK. If you'd like to go first, please keep it very, very briefly. Otherwise, I will have to interrupt you. We are ending at the top of the hour.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope everyone can hear me. Sure. Thank you very much for putting this together. I believe strongly, I'll try and make this as brief as possible. I believe strongly that DELE did what he did because he wanted Nigerians to be enlightened. He would be disappointed if at the end of his ordeal, Nigerians still do not know how rotten the judiciary is. So this is my own personal plea to every Nigerian. Please, the least you will do is at least try to understand what the case is about. The least you will do is do not listen to the noise and the naysayers that what people are saying. Go and find out what the case is about. Decide for yourself if the Nigerian judiciary is actually as rotten as people say it is, so that you are not making your decisions based on hearsay. You're making your decision based on what you have seen, what you have read. Nigerians need to read more. DELE did what he did, knowing fully well that he's going to be incarcerated. He said it a couple of times. In fact, DELE expects that the worst will happen to him. But he will say this every time, that it would be a waste of all his sacrifice if Nigerians do not get enlightened. Now, this I'll just piggyback, just to round off, I'll piggyback off what my brother 99% Pidom said, that this is a fight for our future. This is a fight for our freedom. The average Nigerian is selfish. That's why many people will keep quiet when others are suffering, but they do not know. Like the quote said, when they came for the Jews, I said I was not a Jew. When they came for DELE, I said I was not DELE. And then when they came for me, there was no one to speak for me. Until the average Nigerian decides that we are going to stop being selfish and start thinking that what happens to others is most likely going to happen to us. Some people may have said that, oh, classic example, a parent may have said, oh, I didn't allow my child go for NSAS protest in 2020. And that same child may have gone for a Christmas funfair yesterday and got stampeded. The question is, he still died anyway. So it's time for Nigerians to drop this selfish attitude that we have and start thinking as a collective. Let us begin to identify who our enemies are. Our enemies are those that want to take away this freedom from us by randomly picking up people. Look at what Pidom said about Joe in Calabar. I've followed that guy for a while in Calabar, and I know that he's a real troublemaker to the government. So if they can pick up this guy from this place, pick up Speed Darlington from this other place, then you probably realize that there's no country for us anymore. And Nigerians, we need to begin to learn how to, I like to use the word, the art of instant retribution. This thing where we wait for somebody to come and save us, we need to stop it. I have a post on my timeline where I put two different crowds, one in Nigeria and one in South Korea. The Nigerian crowd, we gather and form a crowd to beg for food, but will not form a crowd to demand accountability. The Nigerian will form a crowd to beg for bread, but will not form a crowd to force the government to do what they should do. But the South Korean crowd will go and form a crowd and depose their president. It's time for Nigerians to begin to have sense. I rest my case at this point.
Thank you so much, Casey. I'm going to go to Chidi. Chidi, please keep it brief for me. Thank you very much. And then I see the one lady that I asked for has put her hand up. So Rita, you'll be our last speaker for the night. Chidi, give me just 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. I just wanted to remind us very clearly that we are against a government in power who knows very well that it was the judiciary that aided them to come to power. They were actually very bold in saying go to court because they know they bought the judiciary. So whatever is happening is just the government masquerading. One thing I want to tell us is this. Even as the other speaker said, he knows DELE is going to come out tomorrow and all of that. And somebody else, Show, has already let us know that people in our midst here are from the DSS and other government departments. We know they are listening to us. So my suggestion is this, and just in line with what Dr. Damages said before, we should move quickly our minds way beyond DELE's case. Dr. Malcolm already said that his family doesn't need a lot of assistance right now. So that what does that tell you? It tells you that DELE's case is just a catalyst for where all of us know we need to be concerning what's going on with Nigeria and the judiciary. So maybe we need to reorganize ourselves and get ready for just in case, because they are listening to us. They're going to come out with a counter move. They understand Nigerians so well. They're going to come up with, like, when you organize protests and they just, instead of coming to attack you in the protest, they come and give you share water and escort you to diffuse the protest. They could just release DELE and do a lot of things that will make people, like they did when they arrested him. Remember, we're going to do protests, and the next thing we heard was, oh, they brought him to court, oh, they granted him bail, and that diffused all our arrangements for protest. So I think we should move a little bit further. I don't agree that we don't need money. Whatever we need to do, we should be actually 10 steps ahead of them. If we need to have another name for this that is not just free DELE FAROTIMI, maybe that's what we should do, because we know very well that it is the judiciary that's our problem. I'm already thinking of something that looks like end SARS, end bad government. If it is end judiciary, let's reorganize around that place and get this thing going, because if DELE gets released, then everything will just die down. That's one thing I want us to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Rita, I know you're going to do it for the women. Please keep this brief, just 1 minute, please, and then we will round up. Thank you.
Is the floor open for me?
Yes, please, ma'am.
All right. Greeting, Dr. Shidi. Greeting, Dr. Marcus. Greeting, Shore. Greeting, Rachel, and greetings to everyone on this platform. I want to say, finally, we've come to a point where we've known it is time for us to deliver ourselves as a people. So this is not all about DELE. This is about delivering ourselves as a people. And this journey is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So let all of us be aware of that. We have a fight to fight. Now, I read the book of DELE FAROTIMI because I'm one of those people who have been asking, how did we get here? The book have exposed to us how we got here as a nation. And the book has made us to understand the biggest enemy we have is the judiciary. So, as we try to round up today, as we go home, let's understand that the fight has just begun. And we are not giving up until we rescue our nation called Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless us.
And it is a solid, secure win from the women. Thank you so much. God's will. I really appreciate your God's will for Nigeria. Unfortunately,
sorry, that wasn't Rachel. That wasn't God's will. That was HO. I think God's will was not able to talk when you were calling her. So maybe I don't know if you want to do that.
Sorry, I wanted to talk and I heard someone else's voice. I had to wait. Okay, I'm sorry. Greetings, everyone.
Oh, I see. I'm not sure who spoke. Okay. Shall I be partial? Right. Okay. Because I promised that you can speak, please go ahead, Rita. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I want to greet Baba very passionately. I want to say thank you very much for putting this together. I want to greet the host and every person on the space. I want to say, like many other persons have said, this is not really about Uncle DELE FAROTIMI alone. I want to believe he was taken at this time can also bring relief to as many that have been going through this oppressive situation. The person Peter spoke about, I heard about his story and I spoke to him a few days ago. This guy is so down and needs a whole lot of help. The state has rendered him so, I don't want to use the word useless, to the point that he can't even afford a square meal for himself. It is horrible. And these are the ones we know. What about the ones that we don't know? So, like, seriously, we don't have to end with just Uncle D alone. It has to continue so that we don't allow innocent citizens to be suffering simply because they said a truth that is better for each and every one of us. The truth is the only one that can build our country. We cannot survive by what these people are doing to us. The case of DELE FAROTIMI is so painful to me because a son is involved. A man who is a custodian of the Lord at the apex of it. He's the one doing all this and bringing disgrace to we Nigerians. And it has to stop. There is no time. I want to say once again, thank you very much. I am super grateful. Ash free DELE FAROTIMI now because he has no business being in that prison. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Rita. And I appreciate you keeping this really succinct. I'm going to hand over now to Omoyele Shore to round this up and close out the live space. Thank you to all our contributors. Thank you to all of you that have been tweeting this, retweeting it, for all of you that have joined the WhatsApp group. The link remains pinned. The survey is critical. We need to know if you can help, how you can help, even if it's just to be an additional voice in the room. We appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of this live space. We've been here for 90 minutes and you all stayed. So I'm going to hand over now and say a very good night to the room. And it was a pleasure hosting you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kweju, moderator. You did a fantastic job just keeping this real and work rated today. I want to thank all the speakers that came, Dr. Chidi, Rita, who was the last speaker. I know Deji Adeyanju was trying to be on. Isaac, Pidom, who spoke passionately, Aisha Yusuf, Dr. Malcolm Fabi, who has provided fantastic and unquantifiable intellectual support to where we are today since we first had a conversation a few weeks ago. Nobody thought that by today, DELE would be in detention, except a few of us who warned from the beginning that that was the plan. And there's no need for us to stop, even if they release him. But as I always tell you guys, I'm a pessimist. I expect the worst and hope for the best. And I'm hoping that by tomorrow he'll be out, but that's just the beginning. As DELE himself has said, he has decided to become the grenade that will be lobbed against the corrupt judiciary and its practitioners in Nigeria. And even that would need serious support, coordination, solidarity, and collaboration. So that is why we must keep this going. At some point, there were over 2,000 people who joined this space. That is not something you take for granted at a time like this, that a lot of people are expecting to be doing their Christmas and preparing for it, even though the Nigerian economy has so much messed up the Christmas this year. I don't think people this year would have a Christmas. But the sad part is that it is those people who can afford Christmas that are denying the rest of us who have no reason to suffer the right to be at peace with ourselves and express ourselves on issues that affects our country and our nation and the world as a whole. So I want to thank everyone once again, and those who are tweeting, those who mobilize, or people who join the so, I sign up for to as we speak and during their time, resources, and intellect to help us defeat terror. I think Aisha Yusuf was the one who referred to this appropriately. This is outright terrorism against one of us. But it is not just DELE. There's a speed Darlington there. There's a lady who has collapsed at the Nigeria Police Force headquarters because they accuse her of insulting Tinubu and the General Police and the PPRO police at Dejobi. And there are several others in Imo State, even in Abia State, people are being threatened for expressing themselves. And there are several states, I think Sokoto. We have to take all of this holistically. It's the same way they treated those minors for treason that are treating those who are speaking out. And as far as they are concerned, this is their own way of exacting maximum damage on people who are bold enough and courageous enough to confront tyranny in our country. And they will not stop. Anybody who is telling you that they will stop is just living in fool's paradise, and we must not allow that to continue. So once again, thank you so much. It's exactly 4 p.m. my time. That's 10 p.m. Nigerian time. And wherever you may be, thank you for joining us. Please, when you wake up tomorrow, wake up as early as possible. Look out for updates from Ekiti so that if we need to quickly call an emergency meeting, please be on standby. But whenever I can get to Twitter as early as possible, we will be giving you updates live from the magistrate courts where DELE will be appearing tomorrow. Hopefully, the magistrate appears to do what is supposed to be done. Thank you and good night. Good afternoon from here and good night in Nigeria. And happy holidays.